Hey guys, this is James from TeaDB, and we are joined again by...
Meat.
Yes, that is still your name. It has not changed. We are here at InBetweenIsode number 98, and so you guessed it, it is time for the White2T Club. And what month is it, Meat?
July.
Yeah. And what month is this club? It's July too.
Yes.
We are now caught up. Fist pound.
Fist pound.
Bam. Alright, so we have a couple black teas today.
Interesting.
So we have a pressed black tea.
You know, when I saw that tea, I thought it was a pour tea.
Yeah, well, it's White2T, and it's a pressed tea. Mm-hmm. But once you smelled it, what did you think?
Well, I mean, I said it smells a lot like black tea.
Yeah, and it is black tea, so...
Do a lot of black teas come in press format, or any? Besides what White2T is doing here?
Occasionally they do. I think pressing has kind of become a little bit more popular for black teas and stuff like that.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And last week, or the last episode, we tried the month of May, or month of June, I can't remember. Had two different teas from the same material, but processed different, right?
Exactly, the raw pour and a black tea. And I think we both preferred the raw pour in that sense.
Well, I'm generally, I mean, just as a general preference, I like pours better than black, or I like black teas the least in general.
Okay, so you are a black tea hater. So we'll see how this does. Let's take a smell out of these leaves.
Yeah.
And so this comes in a nice little small Bing format.
Very, very fresh, very, very good smell, actually.
Yeah, strong smell?
Strong smell.
Yeah, so very aromatic, for sure.
I definitely like that about black teas. Probably the only thing I like about black teas.
Is there aroma?
It definitely is. Let me see if it says anything about aroma in here at all. No, but it says it was made in the direction of mouthfeel, aging, and smoothness, while other... Wait, hold on. So this... Okay. So there's the 2016 AMP 100 grams.
Yeah, which is the one we're drinking right now.
We commissioned this tea in early spring from Ligang, near Poor Material. This tea is just starting to settle down. It was traditionally processed and sun-dried, leaving it slightly raw, and it should improve with age for several years. So it makes sense that it has a strong aroma right now.
Yep. So just really freshly pressed. Right. And do you want to take another smell of this guy? Go for it.
Wow. Okay. Smells great. It is chocolatey and deep with a smooth mouthfeel.
Okay. Well, there we go. And then this is the next tea.
And then the next tea would be the 2013
Fengqing
black tea. Thanks.
And so I think the basic idea with sending these tea balls, in addition to being just tea balls, and who doesn't like tea balls, is just to see how something pressed would age, theoretically. So how would this tea cake taste in 3 years? And I mean, it's not going to be a perfect comparison, as I think he says, but it should be interesting. I'm curious as well.
Certainly.
So I'm looking forward to this comparison. I'm also not a frequent black tea drinker. I don't think I'm as much of a hater as Meat, as I do enjoy my black teas, but
there you go.
But it tends to not be the thing that I want to drink. Cheers.
Cheers. All right, I'm a bit surprised. I like the taste so far.
You like the taste so far? There you go.
Also, I'd like to correct you. I'm not a black tea hater. I'm just a black tea disliker.
Okay. I appreciate that clarification. And so, those of you that like black teas, don't dislike Meat. He's only a disliker. You can just dislike him.
There we go.
It is very smooth. It's very soft as well.
Yeah, it definitely has the chocolatey feel, and
I agree.
that's probably the reason, it's got me going as far as like, yeah, as far as liking the taste for the tea.
Yeah. Do you tend to like chocolatey notes?
Oh, definitely.
Okay.
I mean, that's one of the things that got me into Wui. Well, I mean, it's not an ideal comparison, but that's kind of the sweetness,
Sort of darker chocolatey notes.
Exactly.
Rather than, I mean, you've always been a darker tea guy. You've never
That's true.
really gone for like the fresh floral stuff.
Yeah, I started out with fresh floral stuff, I guess, for a very short period, and then I definitely gravitated towards the darker Wuis.
Yeah, so you sort of graduated in. I mean, you also like darker oolongs, like dansongs,
Yeah.
as well.
So far, I would have to say it's very drinkable. As somebody who doesn't prefer to drink
Black teas.
black teas in general, that brew looks a little bit darker, so I'm interested in seeing what that feels like. But
I remember you saying in previous InBetweenIsodes that sometimes the bitter tannic notes of black tea can rub you the wrong way.
that's true.
So we'll see. We'll see if this is stronger in a good way or stronger in a bad way. So yeah, it's brewing up a healthy reddish orange, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
Let's take another smell of that. I continue to get a lot of chocolate. It's actually pretty, I don't think the taste is super complex or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
But it is very tasty. As it says, it is smooth. It has a nice, engaging mouthfeel. And it is very chocolatey.
Mm-hmm. The leaves are opening up pretty fast.
Yeah, they are.
So here's another question: is how long will it last before it goes into extreme bitter territory?
And I think a lot of it comes down to the skill of the person brewing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not an experienced black tea brewer. I don't brew it very often, so we are in shaky hands. Cheers.
Cheers.
It is stronger.
Mm-hmm.
It's fairly similar still. I'd say it has a little bit of a bitter note growing, like sort of seeping through the taste.
That's true. I think the chocolatiness has kind of gone down, like the sweet end of it, and so bitter's coming through a little bit more, but very similar. Like not. I guess it's kind of, it's kind of going in a different direction than what I had expected.
Okay.
So I'm liking it so far.
You are liking it, okay.
And it's the drinkability is very good so far.
Okay.
And so this is the fourth infusion technically, right? So third and fourth.
Correct. Yes.
Very good.
Mm-hmm. And it seems like it's still got its legs under it. I bet you we could go and brew this guy for quite some time.
Yeah. As is generally the case with black teas, right?
I would think they normally go about as long as Wui's.
Okay.
Yeah. So.
Okay. Yeah. You
depends.
You're right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And my mouth now feels just very sweet in general.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of activity just there. Not a lot in the throat or anything, but it has a decent and nice aftertaste for sure. Yeah. So
Very
you would
good.
say, so before we move on to the next tea, in verdict on this tea, drinkable?
Very, very high drinkability. Not just, I would almost go as far as saying not just in terms of black tea in general for me, but overall, I like this tea. So far, it has very light bitter notes. It's chocolatey and sweet, and I'm a person of simple tastes when it comes to tea.
Yep. So you don't need crazy
I don't need
complexity. Exactly. And I think that would probably be surprisingly true for a lot of people. All right, we will be back with this next part, bringing on some tea balls. We are back for part 2 of this episode. We got some tea balls ready to go. I have done the privileges of breaking this tea ball into smaller pieces.
It looks very well done.
Yep, meat covered his eyes while I did so. I did not want to see the destruction of such a finely formed object. Anyways.
How you pronounce it quite specifically? 2013
Fengqing. So Fengqing, Linsong is sort of the greater county area. Fengqing is located within Linchong, they're in the general. They're grown in the same general area, I should say, and they're both compressed, as we see from these tea balls.
There we go.
So this is about 6.6 grams, tossing in 120 milliliter gaiwan. So we're using approximately the same ratios. This is a smaller vessel, so we will probably just take turns on infusions here.
Interesting. The leaves look a bit different than. Look somewhat different than the way
they do.
The compressed tea's leaves are.
Yeah.
The compressed tea is mostly dark. A few leaves out of the ordinary here and there.
Yeah. But we'll be able to tell a little bit better once these start to come apart. Why don't you take a smell of that? Why don't you take a smell of that?
Wow, okay. So far, so good. Nice and sweet as well. I almost wouldn't be able to tell if it was a black tea right now.
You would get it mistaken for what?
I don't know, but I wouldn't jump. Maybe I would jump on black tea, but I wouldn't be 100% sure.
Gotcha. That's quite interesting. You would think it might be like a oolong of some sort.
Perhaps, yeah. I mean, the sweetness definitely goes to that. I hope it's okay. I just opened one of the tea balls.
Show some respect in this house of tea. Yes, of course.
In the house of the tea balls.
Yeah.
Yes. It has a very light aroma in general as in this form as compared to the cake, the compressed cake.
But how about once we pour some hot water on it and are brewing this guy?
Significantly stronger aroma. Very sweet. Not as chocolatey as previous.
Yeah. And why don't we take a smell of this and then compare it with that?
Oh yeah, that's a good idea. I want to say the leaves here have expanded, but just not exactly as much as...
Yeah, they look a little bit smaller than our tea cake. Could also just be
a great. Oh, these are both seemingly very good teas. So almost, I wonder if it, but I can hardly smell a whole lot of...
That one's a little bit cooler.
Yeah, it's
here,
cooler.
Actually, why don't... I'm going to get some hot water on this just so you can smell.
The leaves for the 2016 tea seem fairly green. And I didn't pay a notice to what the... Oh, sorry.
Yeah, now let's take a smell of it.
A little bit more on the bitter end for this one. Still fairly chocolatey.
Yeah, this one's a little more rounded. I think there's a little bit more maybe fruit in it. Maybe a little bit sweeter even.
Definitely a lot sweeter. I personally think. Wow. They both smell amazing. The aroma is just fantastic.
Yeah. Well, this one we have not even tasted yet. So let's get in.
Cheers.
Cheers, guys. Mm.
Mm.
It's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's thick. Very oily for black tea. Like it's a just strong mouthfeel in the mouth.
It has significantly more fruitiness than the previous tea.
It does. A little bit less chocolate, but I feel like the chocolate's still there.
But I agree with you, very well rounded. Wow. Now I think I'm tempted in getting both of these teas and maybe trying them.
Mm.
So this opens up almost a whole new world for me in terms of black tea.
Because you actually like these teas?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, nice mouthfeel. This is a very nice tea. I think so far I think I like the second tea a little bit more.
It definitely has a lot more complexity than the previous tea.
It does.
So
yeah.
Again, it is obviously aged. It is aged 3 more years than the previous one.
Yeah.
It'd be interesting to see how well that tea tastes 3 years later.
Yeah, and I think that this is kind of the idea, is so we do have the comparison.
Mm-hmm.
And if this tea tastes like this tea in 3 years, I would be very happy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Certainly.
So, I do not believe the tea balls are for sale, but this mini cake, is 100 grams. It sells for $17. Do you think that's a reasonable price? Or do you think that's...
It's slightly above my personal, budgeting, how much I like to spend on general.
But
I did spend more on the Wui per 100 grams.
Yeah.
But, that's a special case. But this black tea definitely is one of the specialties,
Okay. So you don't...
I wouldn't mind going for a few 100 grams of this tea.
Mm.
I would certainly give it a try and then move from there.
There you go. And I think I definitely agree with you on this tea about it being much fruitier. The second tea.
Yes, definitely. It's delicious. I'm almost disappointed that the tea balls aren't for sale also, because I like this tea as well.
Yeah, it is quite nice. Maybe it's just the case of the tea being too expensive, so him not wanting to sell it as sort of a result. But I agree. I totally agree. I think it's a very nice tea to have. Certainly one of the better black teas I've had.
Thanks for brewing these, by the way.
I hope they are up to your standards of not being too bitter.
They certainly surpass my standards.
I would say that this time this steep is a little chocolatey, actually. A little more chocolatey.
Okay, yeah. The fruitiness has gone down as well, yeah.
Yeah, a little bit. I'd say, like, the first infusion, it was, like, fruitiness here, chocolatey here. Now it's maybe 50-50. Yeah. So why don't we do one more of this, and then let's do one last infusion of our original tea, just for the sake of comparison, so we can sort of see our own preferences.
Sure. So what kind of, where would you rate this tea in terms of energy level for you?
That's a hard one.
Right.
I don't know, because I drink black tea so seldomly, so I don't totally know how it will affect me.
Right.
I tend to use lighter ratios for them, so and I tend to drink them with other people.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm not sure.
That makes sense. I mean, yeah, I would. This would be a good tea to drink socially with friends.
Assuming you can keep the bitterness and stuff down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's based on how you've brewed today. It proves that it's fairly well
Done. Yeah.
done. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Cheers.
Cheers.
So this is the tea balls still. So very, very smooth.
Mm-hmm.
Almost a little sour in this one.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. And then we will finish off with an infusion of the ANP.
Wow. It's great.
You like this one?
Mm-hmm.
And comparing the leaves now, I'm going to dump these out. Yeah, sort of, I think it's confirming sort of our initial suspicion. The Fengqing leaves are a little bit, the second tea, are a little bit thinner. The ANPs are a little bit larger, a little bit more robust looking, I would say.
Overall, the color seems fairly similar for both.
It is, I think, in the long run. Maybe slightly greener.
Lighter.
Yeah, for the ANP, but it's not super significant.
Mm-hmm.
And then you could even toss them all into the same gaiwan and have a Frankenstein brew. Actually, these teas would probably be pretty similar, so I think that'd be actually pretty okay.
Yeah, exactly. I think you might even be able to find a good ratio that that's more comfortable for you.
Yep.
If you want a little bit more chocolatiness, then you add the first tea a little bit more in proportion.
Exactly.
Pour myself
is the last steep of the ANP. We will see how this guy is. And cheers,
Cheers.
sir.
You can tell that it's significantly less complex.
Definitely.
You can immediately tell that.
It's definitely less in terms of body. Not that it has a bad body.
No.
Maybe I feel like it almost tastes a little more floral now that we've gone back to it, which I didn't get in the original time.
Again, I think it's driving the same point, but I feel like this feels more like a black tea than the second tea, the Fengqing.
Okay.
So,
and which tea do you think in the end you prefer, or are they about equals in your book?
I really like the complex tea. Well, I liked it a little bit more than this one.
Okay.
And they're both great, but seldom is it where I can enjoy the complexity in a tea as well as I did with the Fengqing tea.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, it's and comparing them side by side, I think really illuminates the differences because they are fairly similar. Like if we had the Lin Song tea on the first day, and then tomorrow we got up together and had the Fengqing, we may not be able to tell which one we actually prefer.
Right.
So I think it's interesting doing them side by side. I think I also agree with Meat. I think they're both quite nice teas. I would be very happy if the ANP turned out as good as the Fengqing.
Within a few years, yeah.
But right now I think I prefer the Fengqing as well. Yeah. So there you have it, the White2T July Club. We will probably not be doing more black teas, presumably, unless the club has become the Black Tea Club, which in case I guess we might.
So what's their plan? Is it generally to have a certain type of tea for a quarter? So 3 months if they're...
Not always. If you remember, we had that one brick, the raw pour brick,
That's true.
A couple episodes back.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, we had the white teas for a while, and now we have this. But he just got back from Yunnan. I would guess that we will be in for some poor treats in the next few months.
That's great. All right.
Yeah. So I'm looking forward to that. I enjoy these teas, frankly, more than I expected to. And thank you, Meat, for appearing again.
Hey, thanks for having me.
This
This was a delight.
Yeah. So we'll be back for the August Tea Club unless everyone comments on this video and says we don't want
more Meat.
We don't want James on this video. Meat has to do it alone. So thank you guys for tuning in, and cheers.